hello. This is Tanuja here, holistic nutritionist and digestion whiz, helping those who are done feeling crappy take their lives back. If you want to ditch cravings, increase your energy, or calm your tummy woes, which includes indigestion, heartburn, IBS, diarrhea, or constipation, then I am your go-to girl. So today I wanted to talk about leaky gut. Now you must be wondering, a leaky what? It's a leaky gut. So that means your digestion has some holes in it. And yes, we're not talking about ulcers, but actually a leaky gut. So what does a leaky gut mean? A lot of people have never even heard of it. Now, some basics here. Leaky gut can be associated with different conditions. So if you have been experiencing consistently, symptoms such as gas or bloating or diarrhea or even constipation for that matter, or IBS switching back and forth, if you have been suffering from conditions like psoriasis or eczema, acne, if you have consistent migraines, if you have food sensitivities, and there are certain foods that you cannot tolerate without having problems. What else? If you have lack of energy consistently, if you have inflammation in the body, all of these conditions could be correlated with a leaky gut. Now, what does a leaky gut really mean? Now, if you understand the digestive system, you might have to go back to elementary school and kind of recall how your digestive system is made up of. But basically, when we're talking about a leaky gut, we're saying that there are holes that are formed in the intestinal lining or the wall. So, how our intestines are smooth and they are, they're supposed to keep everything nice and inside. So when we eat food, it's broken down into micronutrients and it's supposed to keep it there within the gut so that it can be processed, it can be, absorbed, the nutrients are taken out, and you feel energized that way. But when there are, in that tight lining, it's almost like cell after cell after cell. So I'm just kind of explaining it here in a very primitive way. But say this is a cell, and these are joined together like this with a tight junction. Now, when these tight junctions become slightly loose, so how there's a space between the two, that is what is called a leaky gut. Now, that means basically if you even if you imagine like a jacket, like with a zipper on it, so it's a tight zipper and it everything is contained inside, no air can go in, and the purpose is to keep it nice and compact. When you have a leaky gut, just imagine that zipper not closing properly, or when you have those little gaping holes in your jacket zipper, and how air can get in. That's exactly what a leaky gut is. So I hope you're getting the idea. So that's what a leaky gut is all about. So how does a leaky gut come about? Like, what causes a leaky gut? And there are various reasons, right? Like if you've been through a traumatic surgery, or a long illness, or an infection of the gut, or you've been on medication for a long time, especially things like antibiotics or very strong medications which you've been using over a long period of time, all sorts of drugs, painkillers, NSAIDs as they're called, chemical laxatives. So there could be several things that could weaken the gut over time. It could have been that you have had a weak digestion right from the beginning, like I was, from my childhood. I knew I had a weak gut. I always had digestive problems. So for me, leaky gut probably started in my childhood without even knowing. If you have a imbalance of gut bacteria, that's when you have a leaky gut. If you've had chronic stress, that causes a leaky gut, because stress causes all sorts of stresses on the body, on the digestive system, and that might cause that tight lining to loosen up. So there could be several reasons as to why you might be having a leaky gut. So, and then obviously we talked about all the symptoms that are associated, right? So if you've had consistently issues with food sensitivities, or bloating, or gas, or IBS, or psoriasis, or eczema, or migraines, or weight gain, right, which you cannot explain what's going on, These are all, even autoimmune conditions, by the way. So rheumatoid arthritis, fibromyalgia, these conditions are also associated with a leaky gut. So you really want to pay attention and, not just start popping pills like, if you're getting the regular gas and bloating or indigestion, then take the Tums or Rolaids to kind of mask those symptoms, or if you have diarrhea, take Imodiums. You really want to dive deeper and understand what is going on within the body. What is that imbalance? Is it a leaky gut? And do you need to take, deeper action than just popping over-the-counter medication or taking prescription medications? So you really want to understand if you have a leaky gut. And that's one of the things that I do with my client, because I specialize in digestive system. I really do a detailed analysis to understand what is going on within the body, and if that is, if leaky gut is involved. Now, there are tests these days that you can also do, and I've partnered with a Canadian laboratory, which is a well-known and very reputable lab, which does tests, there's a marker for leaky gut called zonulin, and we test for that to kind of ensure that, what we suspect is the right diagnosis. And now I am not supposed to diagnose, but with the test, we are at least able to get those markers. And so how do you take care of a leaky gut? Basically, with the leaky gut, you have to strengthen the gut or the digestive system. It is an inside-out approach, because obviously you want to, seal those holes, and you want to make sure that the junctions or those linings are tight and that no food is passing through. Because the moment you have a leaky gut, food starts passing through from within the gut out into the bloodstream, and it's not supposed to be there, because the moment you have food particles in the bloodstream doesn't recognize it as food particles, that it's something that your body is supposed to have. It says, oh, this is a foreign particle, and that's when the immune reaction sets in. That's when you have either allergies to foods, or that's when you have sensitivities to food, where your immune reaction, either IgG reaction or an IgE reaction as we call them, they are set into action so that the body can protect itself. So really, we are talking about the body's own protection mechanism going all weird, because now it's finding particles in the bloodstream which is not supposed to be there. So with the protocol that I walk my clients through is really a gut healing, a gut strengthening protocol rather, where we work on fixing those issues. We figure out what foods you're supposed to be eating, what foods can you temporarily avoid, what can we do in terms of gut soothing foods, supplements that you can take in order to strengthen the gut. We want to figure out what kind of foods are giving you the trouble, are causing you more inflammation. And some of the common foods will be gluten and sugar, dairy, soy, right? So which are those particular foods that might be causing you trouble, and then we take it from there. So it's a 5-step protocol that I walk my clients through, part of which is not just removing the foods, but adding foods that are good for your gut, that will help strengthen the gut. We talk about how can we balance the gut bacteria, because that plays a huge role. You've heard about probiotics these days. We talk about probiotics and how can we balance out the gut bacteria if there is a issue there, which generally is with people with a leaky gut. Then we talk about, really strengthening the gut so that all the foods that are coming its way, it's able to handle it properly, which, otherwise in normal conditions it would have been. But because now you have a leaky gut, those foods are not being processed properly. So really, it's a very deep approach to figuring out what is going on in the body and how can we fix that. So that was a little, 101 or a short snapshot of what a leaky gut is, or what it looks like, and what you could do about it. So if you are suspecting, based on any of the symptoms that I just listed, that you have a leaky gut, or if you are confused still, reach out, let's chat and see if that might be the cause of your symptoms and discomfort. Because, let's face it, nobody wants to be living with aches and pains and migraines or diarrhea or IBS, right? It just doesn't let you perform at your fullest and feel good. So let's chat and we can figure out if leaky gut is something that you suffer from, and if that is something that needs to be addressed. So that was it for me. It's a short and sweet one today, but I hope that gives you an insight into what a leaky gut is. And there are plenty of resources on my website. I have written articles and blog posts about it also. So make sure you go ahead and check them out. Feel free to join my Facebook group, Wellbeing Unleashed. And there are a lot of other people in the tribe just like you who might be suffering from leaky gut issues. And yeah, feel free to join that. There is a cheat sheet on my website as well to download some foods for rocking digestion. So that might be a good start for you if you don't know, which foods are good for the gut and what can help you get better fast. So plenty of resources for you. Reach out, stay connected, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.